Liam Hudson, a 27-year-old millionaire, decided to test if his fiancée truly loved him or was just with him for his money. He told her that he had gone bankrupt and lost everything, and her reaction left him speechless. Dear viewers, welcome to our channel. Subscribe to receive more stories every day. It was a warm summer day. Liam was sitting by the window in a cozy bakery, sipping coffee. He occasionally glanced at his watch, showing great concern for the time. Then, Liam picked up his phone and called a friend. He had been waiting for an hour, but unfortunately, his friend said something urgent had come up and he couldn't make it. Liam was disappointed with his friend, as it was his birthday, but he didn't want to show his dissatisfaction and said it was fine. He had planned to celebrate the day alone because he didn't like parties and preferred solitude. However, every birthday always brought an inexplicable melancholy, making him reflective and pensive. He had recently returned to his hometown after living in another city for 4 years. He studied at MIT, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Liam graduated with honors and now returned home with a sense of accomplishment, ready to give his best at his father's retail business. Liam called the waitress and asked her to bring more coffee and a slice of cake. He then took out his tablet and tried to focus on what really mattered: his work. He was one of the directors of a high-end retail company founded by his grandfather, who had passed away and left everything to his father, the current owner of the company. After a quick look at the notes on his tablet, he put it away. The waitress brought the order, but Liam had lost his appetite after remembering another disappointment with his friend. So he just thanked her and asked for the bill. The total was only $10, but Liam left a $50 bill and headed for the exit. As he was about to leave, he heard someone shouting and asking him to wait. When he turned around, he saw the waitress coming towards him. She approached him, panting, and said, "Sir, you forgot your change. Here it is." The man looked at the extended notes in her hand and replied that it was a tip, and he didn't need change this time. Noticing the girl's surprised look, the young man explained that it was his birthday and that the best way to celebrate was by doing something good for someone. The waitress just smiled and congratulated him for the kind gesture. Then she added, very shyly, that her name was Anna and that she would be very happy if he came back to the bakery again. When he was already at home lying in his bed, Liam found himself thinking about Anna. She was very different from all the other girls he knew, and it was her uniqueness that attracted him. That smile was enchanting. He had been to the establishment several times before and always noticed the young girl, but because of the rush of work and always being accompanied by other company employees, he never had the courage to talk to her. Despite his wealth, Liam was a very lonely man. He also never had much luck in romantic relationships. The women Liam had met were either superficial or mercenary, and this traumatized him enough to not seek another girlfriend for a long time. But the encounter with Anna gave him a completely different feeling, one he never had with the other women he had dated. She caused a kind of comfort, and at the same time euphoria and nervousness, a mixture of feelings that was inexplicable for the young man. With these thoughts, Liam went asleep. In the morning, when he went to work, he arrived at the office and met his secretary, Sophia. She was a beautiful young woman who always dressed very well in designer jewelry and clothes. She also had a model-like appearance and an unmistakable perfume. Liam had known her since middle school. They studied together and lived close to each other their whole lives. Sophia's parents had become friends with Liam's parents, and as a courtesy, she got an internship as a secretary at the family's retail company, working to help Liam with administrative functions. Liam always knew that his parents would be happy if they got married, and the young man had noticed the look she had been giving him for a long time, but he was in no rush to reciprocate and didn't even think about whether he would do so. When she asked how his birthday had been, he told her about his friend's abandonment and that he had spent the day alone, but that he didn't care about commemorative dates. To make up for it, Sophia offered to go out with him over the weekend. "Maybe I can save your week full of disappointments, right?" said Sophia. Liam agreed because he felt pressured, and then tried to change the subject by turning on his computer and starting to work. He just wanted to take women off his mind and focus on his career. When the weekend arrived, Liam, as promised, went on a date with Sophia. They went to a restaurant and then visited the theater. Sophia chattered and laughed nonstop, trying her best to make Liam notice what she felt for him. At the end of the afternoon, when it was time to say goodbye, Sophia herself hugged Liam and tried to kiss him. But he pulled away and said he was very tired and had had a busy day, not having the mind for that at the moment. He took Sophia home and then decided to go to the bakery where Anna worked. The girl recognized him and immediately approached him. Liam noticed the kindness and joy in her eyes as she took his order. And then Liam asked what her plans were for Sunday. "It's my day off. I think I'll stay at home," replied Anna. The young man didn't need to think much and invited her to spend the day with him. The young waitress agreed and gave Liam her phone number. The next day, he called her in the morning, and they arranged to meet at a city amusement park that faced the sea. He spent the whole day preparing for the date, and his anxiety made him feel like he was 12 years old again. He could hardly wait to see her. When the afternoon arrived, they met and started the fun. They went on the Ferris wheel, rode the roller coaster, had ice cream, and then went to a nearby cafe. The two were having as much fun as ever. Liam asked Anna about her life, and she replied that she lived alone with her 10-year-old sister, Lily, in a small apartment on the outskirts of town. "Unfortunately, my mother passed away about 2 years ago after losing a hard battle against cancer. As for my father, he abandoned us as soon as we found out about her diagnosis and never came back." Hearing her story, Liam nodded sympathetically. Thus ended their first night together. Since then, his heart was divided in two. On one hand, he felt pressured to be with Sophia, as his parents wanted, and on the other, he couldn't get Anna out of his mind. He was afraid of making the wrong decision and didn't know if he would disappoint his parents or himself with any choice he made. Liam felt trapped. He didn't want to hurt anyone or end up hurt himself. One day, the young man called Anna, but she said through tears that her sister was sick, coughing a lot, and had a high fever. Liam was very worried and decided to take her to the hospital immediately and then made sure to buy the necessary medicines. After that, Liam's bond with Anna became even stronger. He frequently visited her and her sister, bringing supplies and having what they called a movie night, where they watched movies together and ate popcorn. At the same time, he couldn't distance himself from Sophia, as they worked together and were in constant contact. Then, one day, the beautiful girl decided to risk everything and asked when they would get married. Liam nearly choked on his coffee and thought she was joking, but the woman continued with the subject and said that it was his father who had suggested the idea. Liam looked at her with a look of perplexity, and Sophia stared back at him and then left his office. Liam decided that same day to talk to his father about that unbelievable suggestion. He entered his father's office and said it was absurd for him to make such a decision without his permission. His father looked at him with a serious expression, and when his son told him about his conversation with Sophia, he just looked thoughtful. Liam then said he had already made up his mind. He liked another girl, a simple waitress, and said he intended to marry her in the future. His father was then thoughtful and didn't know what to answer. The situation was not good, as he had already called Sophia's parents to say that his son was going to marry her. There was then an uncomfortable moment of silence in the office, and Liam's father explained that this marriage would be good for the retail business because he was trying to convince Sophia's grandfather to merge his company with theirs. And with the marriage of his granddaughter and the families becoming one, this decision would be much easier for the elderly man. Liam then said he suspected it was just the opposite, and that his father was actually being tricked into a scheme. The young man explained that when he went out with Sophia, he realized that she was actually a superficial woman and only interested in his money, giving indications that her grandfather's company was not as well off as his father thought, and the girl was trying to secure a good life by marrying him. All this made Liam's father very suspicious, and he then decided to suggest a plan. "Let me fire you just for show. Tell everyone that you no longer work here and that I disinherited you. You will stay at home for a while and tell Sophia that the company is on the verge of bankruptcy. So we'll see if she still wants to marry you without money and a job. If she still wants to proceed, it means she really loves you," said Liam's father. Liam liked the idea but was sure that Sophia would leave him if he had no money because he knew she loved the luxurious life and wanted to marry him only for money and status. His father didn't delay the plan and immediately announced to the whole office that Liam was fired. When Liam was leaving the office, he left the door open, and his father shouted to the entire office that the young man was fired and disinherited, having to leave the company as soon as possible before he called security. When Sophia found out that his father had repudiated him and now Liam was without money or inheritance, she went to talk to him. and he followed the plan, saying, "The truth is, we are on the brink of bankruptcy. It's just a matter of time before we lose everything." Upon hearing this, she looked deeply into his eyes, turned her back on Liam, and said that it wouldn't work for them to get married. "Liam, I'm sorry. I'm not the kind of woman who stays with a bankrupt man. Look at me. I don't even like to get close to poor people. And if you're going to become one, that's enough for me," said Sophia, turning her back on Liam. Liam left the office relieved because he was sure of who Sophia really was. He spent that unusual night with Anna and Lily. They went to the mall cinema and then all went to his house. Liam kept smiling while looking at Anna, but she could tell something was wrong and asked if everything was okay. Liam looked at her, and after a long stare amid an awkward silence, said that he was getting married soon. Anna looked away disappointed. She didn't imagine that Liam was already committed. Then she started crying because what she felt for him was genuine and didn't expect such a disappointment. Then he took the woman's hand, looked into her eyes, and said she didn't need to cry because she would be his fiancée if she allowed it. Liam saw a beautiful smile on Anna's face. They hugged and finally entered into a serious relationship. Anna and Lily moved in with Liam in his spacious apartment. The woman was enchanted by his apartment. She had no idea how much money Liam had because he was always very reserved about it, and she never bothered to ask. 40 years passed. Liam and Anna remained soulmates made for each other. Fortunately, Liam made the right choice, and we can end this story with a happy ending. However, we must be very careful with the people around us. Dear viewers, thank you for watching. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel to receive more stories every day. Share with us what you think of this story.